The City of Venice, built in 1892 in West Bay City, Michigan. This massive wooden bulk freighter was built by James Davidson. She would have 2 decks and 3 masts aboard her. She would also come equipped with a triple expansion steam engine and 3 cylinders along with 2 boilers. The City of Venice would have a length of 301 feet. She'd have a beam of 42, a depth of 20, and a gross tonnage of 2,107. She also had a net tonnage of 1,771. This would come out to around 3,500 tons capacity. What made the City of Venice unique is that in August of 1892, it was recorded that she would carry 42,000 bushels of wheat. This was recorded as the largest cargo ever carried on a wooden vessel on the Great Lakes. Not only would the City of Venice carry bushels of wheat, but she would actually primarily carry iron ore. She was designed specifically to transport heavy, dry bulk cargo across the Great Lakes. Now, to put into perspective early wooden steamers on the Great Lakes from the 1810s to the 1850s, these wooden passenger sidewheelers and steamers would average lengths of around 140 to 200 feet in length. Then came the golden age of bulk freighters from the 1860s to the 1890s, late into them as well. These ships would range from 150 to 300 feet in length. However, this would ultimately be the limit for wooden bulk freighters on the Great Lakes. And the reason for that is anything longer than 300 feet would begin to suffer from hogging and sagging. This meant that the flexing of the wooden hull over the waves would cause catastrophic leaking at times, especially during storms that would appear over the lakes. However, by the late 1880s and into the 1890s even, the shipbuilding industries began to realize that the wooden freighters had reached their limits. This would begin the process of shifting completely to steel freighters. Take for example the 603-foot-long SS Daniel J. Morrell, built in 1906 in West Bay City, Michigan, and later launched that same year. In the end, the City of Venice would serve for 10 years on the Great Lakes, starting from July of 1892 to her tragic end on August 5th of 1902. On a calm, clear night on Lake Erie on August 5th of 1902, the City of Venice, under the command of Captain Philip Broderick, along with 20 to 25 crew members aboard her, were making their way to Buffalo, New York. They were carrying 3,600 tons of iron ore. Meanwhile, the 220-foot-long Canadian steamer Seguin was making her way from Parry Sound, Ontario to Ogdensburg, New York. Now, aboard the Seguin, most of the people aboard her were actually asleep. This left only the second mate and a watchman in the pilot house. Again, as stated before, the weather was calm and clear. However, that would not stop disaster from happening on Lake Erie. As the two vessels were making their way calmly across Lake Erie that night, out of nowhere, the Seguin would smash directly into the side of the City of Venice. In fact, the impact was so violent that she nearly cut the vessel in half. Immediately after the violent collision of the Seguin into the City of Venice, Captain Broderick of the City of Venice would awake. He would rush to the deck of his ship, and seeing the disaster, would give the immediate order to launch the lifeboats. Now, fortunately, the Seguin would successfully rescue the majority of crew members from the City of Venice. However, unfortunately, 3 crew members would be trapped within the City of Venice and drowned and go down with her. All of this would happen in less than 15 minutes as the vessel sank. Now, the biggest question into how in the world this collision could have happened in clear, calm, no foggy weather on Lake Erie is the mystery. From what I could find, it appears as the Seguin was at fault, as they failed to keep a proper watch aboard her. Now, there may have been other factors at play as well, possibly failure to maintain a safe speed from both vessels or give proper signals. Now, one other thing I did find suspicious, or at the very least interesting, and this came from the second mate of the Seguin who was on watch at the time of the collision. It is reported that he stubbornly refused to give details to investigators, and he would only state, and I quote, "The less said about it, the better," end quote. Now, the remaining crew members from the City of Venice that were rescued by the Seguin were taken safely to Cleveland. The Seguin would also stand by for about half an hour in the vicinity of the collision site, possibly looking for any more survivors. The City of Venice would sink and settle in about 66 feet of water. Her remains are in Canadian waters, and she is offshore and southeast of Point Alpins, Rondeau, Ontario. She would sink directly into a heavily used shipping channel, again filled with heavy iron ore cargo aboard her. Some historical maritime logs also note that the City of Venice settled deep into the lake bottom, which made her a permanent and total loss. The remains of the City of Venice were also dynamited and removed by salvage crews in September of 1903, this being as her wreck posed an immediate danger to other vessels on the Great Lakes navigating in that area. The last little bit of information here on the Seguin in particular is she would end up sustaining minimal structural damage after the collision. She was built of steel and the City of Venice was built of wood. The Seguin's bow essentially acted as a battering ram on that night. The Seguin was a sturdy steel vessel and suffered only primary bow damage. This was localized to just scraping or denting from the collision. And that is the story of the tragic collision of the City of Venice and the Seguin on Lake Erie. Well, this was a mysterious story to say the least, especially being that most of the stories on the channel, end up being, especially in collisions, because of foggy conditions. Even some of the stories will start off, oh, it was a calm, clear night, crystal clear, and then fog eventually rolls in and can cause these collisions of other ships on the channel. But there was no fog, there was no bad weather, it was calm, clear, and I guess from my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I guess the second mate aboard the Seguin, he must have stepped away from where he was looking in the pilot house, and I don't know, how did nobody not see the lights from the City of Venice as they were approaching and getting closer and getting closer? I can only guess that somebody must have stepped away, and whoever was piloting the vessel did not see the City of Venice coming up until it was probably too late and right in front of their face, and bam, it happened. It is a bit of a mystery, and from the news report, he didn't want to say much about it. I don't take what you want from that. I don't know what to make of that, but very unfortunate that 3 people lost their lives in this disaster on Lake Erie. And yeah, the City of Venice sank pretty quickly, 15 minutes, and I have to believe those poor men were trapped in there as they were probably frantically trying to make sense of what's going on and what on earth is going on, and make their way to the top, and they must have got trapped somehow, either from the inrushing of water or what. But yeah, may they rest in peace, and may they respectfully be remembered, especially in this video for that and for the story of this collision. Interesting, incredible story. There's not many I can think of where a collision happens. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but where at least a collision happens in crystal clear, calm weather on the Great Lakes. I don't know many stories that I come across in those conditions where situations like this happen, but maybe it was a regular thing back then, especially with no navigation, no radar, no modern day technology. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. This was a great story to read and put together, and all the information and everything with it was just amazing. I loved it. So I hope this can give those 3 men a respectful remembrance. And if you guys have other information or insights or whatever into this story, let me hear from you down in the comment section. And I much appreciate your support and being with me here again on today's episode. And yeah, thank you for being along for the ride with the channel right now. We got a we have a very great season coming up here, the end of summer and into fall, with some awesome things in store and planned for the channel. So just keep watching, keep an eye out, and see what goodness is to come. So, but with that being said, as always, God bless you all, and see you again next time on Songs of the Great Lakes.